necessity viewers. I don't know why I decided to do that. But today is my April 2015 favorites, part 1, and this chair won't stop squeaking. It drives me crazy. But these are my favorites of the first part of April, and as always, if I mention a movie, a TV show, a video game, etc., or my playlist of songs, the trailers and videos will be in the description box down below so you can check them out if they sound interesting to you. And let's just get started with books. My favorite books of the past few weeks have been, first off, I'm almost finished with this. I know it looks like I'm halfway through, but this book is unique and I'll tell you why in a minute. But it's Invisible Monsters Remix by Chuck Palahniuk. And I just have to start by saying a lot of people said this was like a masterpiece and one of, Chuck Palahniuk's best. It's not a masterpiece to me personally. It's a very good book. I'll give it that. But it's not like a literary magazine. Literary masterpiece. There we go. It's not a literary masterpiece, but it's still a very good book, a very solid book, and I'm glad it's my first Chuck Palahniuk book because now I'm interested in reading like Fight Club and Choke and stuff like that. But it's about the story of a supermodel who gets her lower jaw shot off, and she meets this model named Brandy Alexander, and they have this boy toy that they change his name a lot, and they just go around to different mansions and stuff stealing their drugs and makeup and stuff, and you learn about her history as a model before her face was blown off. And it's really intriguing, and the thing about the remix is it jumps. Like you'll read chapter 1 and it'll say jump to chapter 40. Then it says jump to chapter 2, jump to chapter 39. And some chapters are like backwards and you have to hold them up in a mirror to read them. So that's really interesting, and I like it because you can't tell how far along you really are in this. And you can't like cheat and go to the end and see what happens because you don't know where the end is. So I think this is really interesting. And like I said, it's not a masterpiece by any means, but it's still a really good book. So if you haven't read a Chuck Palahniuk novel, Invisible Monsters is a pretty good place to start. I would say get the remix because it's how Chuck wanted the book to actually be released first off, but the publishing company wouldn't let him. So I do recommend this. Just don't go expecting this to blow your mind with literary spectacularness. It's not even a word. But it's just not a masterpiece, but it's still a really, really good book. And secondly, I was really surprised by how good this book is. This is a self-help book, by the way. It's The Nerdist Way, How to Reach the Next Level in Real Life by Chris Hardwick. Now, I love Chris Hardwick and Nerdist.com. And this it's kind of like a biography meets a self-help book. Like, it's made for creative people, like nerdy people, and it has 3 different sections: mind, body, and time. And like with the mind section, you learn how to control anxiety, how to prevent panic attacks, how to get over any addictions you may have if you have a problem with addiction. The body section teaches you how to take care of your body, some exercises to do, and then time teaches you obviously like time management and stuff. Which is, all of those are really helpful in creative fields because you have to learn how to manage your time. And a lot of people that are creative have anxiety and depression and OCD, stuff like that. They get panic attacks. And we often don't take care of our bodies like we should. I know I don't, and I really should. I need to get more exercise and eat more healthfully, but when you're a creative, you just kind of grab whatever's around you because you're busy, editing or writing or painting or whatever you do. But this really helps. It really helps. Chris is genius. Like, he's a genius. The way he wrote this, it's hilarious, but it's really helpful. It's very simple to understand, and if you're creative, I highly recommend picking this up because it gives really good tips. And yeah, I love it. I love it so much. And you can just go back to a certain section if you need to and read it over again, like if you need to refresh your memory on how to, prevent panic attacks, or maybe you need to look up a certain exercise, or you need to learn how to manage your time more efficiently. You can just flip to that section. It's really good. I was kind of surprised it was that good, but I highly recommend it. Now, moving on to films I love this month. I'll start with the only one that I own, and that is Gremlins Special Edition. This is technically the second time I watched it, but I'm saying it's the first because when I originally watched this, it was when I was like 5 or 6. My uncle had the VHS. He put it in. I watched it until Gizmo turned into, well, not Gizmo turned into a gremlin, but Gizmo's babies turned into gremlins, and that scared the ever-living crap out of me. And I started screaming and crying. He had to eject the tape, and that was that. So I finally watched this all the way through. It's not scary at all now, but for a child, that is scary. And it's very gory for a child to be watching this, but it's a classic 80s film, and everyone knows the story of Gizmo and the gremlins, the Mogwai. You know, it's classic. It's so cute. Like, Gizmo is so freaking cute. It hurt the whole movie. I would see him and I'd go, oh, sweet little baby. Don't hurt a sweet little baby. I was like, I want a Gizmo. I want a Gizmo. He's so cute and fluffy and cuddly and sweet. Oh, it hurt. Like, it seriously hurt my heart because he was so cute. This is such an iconic film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's not scary. It's not scary. It's funny. And it's just amazing. I'm kicking myself for not seeing it sooner and for freaking out when I was a child. Next up, the next 3 movies I don't own, but I love them. And the first one up is Insurgent. That's the sequel to Divergent. And Insurgent basically picks up where Divergent left off. Tris and 4 are with Abnegation. And it's Abnegation, right? I think. No, I don't want to talk to you, Siri. Shut up. My phone is weird. But, you know, they're with the group, and, you know, Erudite's still hunting for them, and they have to go meet the faction list, and this is all a huge spoiler if you haven't seen Divergent, so I'm sorry, but it's amazing. Awesome action sequences, great performances by Shailene Woodley, Theo James, Kate Winslet, Naomi Watts, Octavia Spencer, Miles Teller, Jai Courtney, Ansel Elgort, Zoe Kravitz, Suki Waterhouse. I mean, there's so many great performances in this film, so check out Insurgent, especially if you've checked out Divergent. You need to watch Divergent first, though, just to let you know, but it's great. Another one I really loved, and I was surprised I loved it, was The Imitation Game. Now, this is the true story of Alan Turing. Now, Alan Turing cracked the Nazi Enigma code. He saved 14 million lives. But he was persecuted for being homosexual, and that is so sad because he was so brilliant. And Benedict Cumberbatch plays him so phenomenally well. It's hard to say sometimes. But he did a fantastic job as Alan Turing. You really feel for Alan Turing. Like, at the start of the movie, he starts off being kind of like a jerk, but then you understand his thought processes, and he's a genius. And, you know, brilliant people sometimes have brains or minds or whatever you want to call them that don't actually compute the way normal people do. Like, they don't get social interactions as well, and they don't understand emotions as well. So you really connect with Alan in that way, and you see how much he did during this time, and then for people just to shelve all of his achievements because of him being homosexual is so sad. He was so brilliant, and sadly, this is not a spoiler because this is a true life story, but he killed himself because the government made him start taking hormones. They wanted him to have sexual reassignment surgery. After a year of taking hormones, he killed himself. That is just so sad to me and so despicable. And I know this is a different time, it still is so sad. Keira Knightley was great as Joan Clark. She did a fantastic job, and I love seeing Charles Dance in the film. Charles Dance, of course, is Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, and he is also in Dracula Untold as the guy that turns Vlad into a vampire. But yeah, he did a fantastic job as well. He was so mean. But this is a fantastic film, a beautiful film. You need to see it. Alan Turing is just a genius. He's basically the guy that invented the computer, okay? The original computers that would take up whole walls were called Turing machines, so Alan Turing, we owe the internet to him, and he saved so many lives by cracking the Nazi Enigma code. And then he died because of his homosexuality, which is just so sad. Okay, let me get off the topic of Alan Turing because that upsets me so much. This film I really enjoyed this past few weeks has been Paprika by Satoshi Kon. Now, Satoshi Kon is a newer director that I'm watching. He's not a new director because he's passed away now, and a lot of his movies came out in the 90s, but Paprika is just a like that kind of movie. It's animated, of course it's an anime film, but Paprika is just like a story about the DC Mini, and it controls people's dreams, but it gets stolen, so people's dreams start to meld into their nightmares, and I can't remember the character's name, but there's this character that appears in every night dreammare, whatever you want to call it, and ruins the whole thing. And you know, you see Paprika, she's in every dream as well, and it's very confusing. You definitely need to watch it twice, because I've only watched it once. I need to watch it again to kind of let it soak in more. But if you've seen any of Satoshi Kon's previous works, you know how eccentric he is, but how brilliant his films are. And I think it inspired Inception, because it's got a very Inception-esque feel, but of course Paprika came out way before Inception. So you definitely need to watch this, and if you haven't seen a Satoshi Kon film, I wouldn't start with Paprika, I would start with Perfect Blue. But Paprika is a great film, so I really, really loved it. TV! So many shows have returned. Let's get started with Game of Thrones. I loved the first episode, okay? I loved it so much. Dario Nahara's, inappropriate list stuff. But yeah, you see Daenerys and her dragons, and you see Tyrion's fate, and you see Cersei struggling, and it's just amazing. I can't go into it without spoiling anything for anyone, but Game of Thrones, it's fantastic. Salem. I really love Salem, and it's pretty creepy. It's about witches, of course, in Salem, Massachusetts. It has a lot of real-life characters in it, like Cotton Mather, Increase Mather, Tituba, all these different characters, and it just follows the lives of the witches in Salem as they try to conceal their witchy nature. And, you know, it shows John Alden trying to hunt the witches of Salem, and you learn about John and Mary's past. I'm not going to try to give anything away, but it's so amazing. The first season was really, really creepy. The second season, I've seen 2 episodes. It's pretty creepy, but not as creepy as the first episode so far. But it's still really, really great. The performances are solid. I love Shane West and Seth Gable. And Janet Montgomery is fantastic as Mary Sibley. So if you like witchcraft kind of films and movies and stuff, and you like creepy shows, definitely check out Salem, because it's fantastic. And the last show is Finding Carter. Now this is an MTV show, and I say MTV show, and you're going, oh great, it's crap. She has no good taste whatsoever. But it's really, really good. Like, it's about the story about a girl named Carter who she learns as a baby that she was kidnapped and stolen from her, you know, actual family by this woman who she grows up believing is her mom. Then her real family finds her, and she has to integrate into their lives, and you see all this familial drama, you see all this scandalous stuff happen, and it's just really, really good and really touching. So I love Finding Carter. Don't judge it unless you've seen it. We're moving on to the games. I don't know what that was. But anyway, first off is Bloodborne, which this is the alternate cover. I flipped it because it looked way better than the other cover, which was still pretty badass, but this is really awesome. But you got your character here, which I'm a female, so that doesn't really apply, and then Bloodborne on the back. But Bloodborne, the latest entry from Software. It's really tricky to say from Software, but of course they made Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and this is like a spiritual successor. I actually like this more than Dark Souls. That's the only Souls game I've played is Dark Souls, and I enjoyed it, but there are a few problems I have with Dark Souls. It's very tough, and with Dark Souls there were some moments where I wanted to throw my controller and just quit the game. With Bloodborne so far, I haven't had that. I have died, but not as much as I did in Dark Souls, and it's a lot more accessible, and I don't mean it's easier, I just mean it's a lot more friendly towards newcomers or people that weren't enamored with Dark Souls, because with Dark Souls, sometimes it did feel unfair. A lot of people said it was perfectly fair, but let's be honest, some of the enemies, like I'd be hiding behind a pillar, and their weapon would somehow reach through the pillar and kill me, and I'm like, no, that's a glitch. And then sometimes I'd be way out of range of their weapon, and they would swing, it would not hit me, but it would still kill me for some reason. And I'm like, that didn't happen very often, but those glitches really brought the experience down for me. And plus, since it was so open world, you could totally stumble into an area that you were way underpowered in, and it was just really confusing. But with Bloodborne, every time you die, it is your fault. and you want to keep playing. You don't want to throw your controller. You just want to keep playing. You want to get past where you were, and it's just a lot more accessible. Like, you can gain health back by hitting enemies in a certain period of time. You have blood vials and quicksilver bullets, which, starting off, they're pretty easy to find. You just kill an enemy, you can find a few blood vials and bullets per enemy usually. And the enemies are a lot more easy to kill. That's all I can just say. They're not as difficult. And that's why I really love about Bloodborne. It's more linear, because, you know, it might look open world, but then you go to a game and it'll be like, this game is closed by a device, which means you have to come back later. But I like that it's linear, because then I'm not wandering around, you know, in an overpowered area. And I like that it's also more, you know, you get in and fight. You don't defend yourself, then go in. You just basically have to slash at people, and if they attack you, you have to go lunge backwards. So it's way more action oriented, and I could go on and on. I'm not going to, but this game is brilliant so far, and yeah, for me personally, this surpasses Dark Souls. I like Dark Souls. I didn't love it, but so far I'm loving Bloodborne. So if you didn't like Dark Souls, but you're wanting to play Bloodborne, I highly suggest it. It's way more accessible, and it's just a lot better, in my opinion. And another game I really loved was Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 3. I gotta look at the subtitle, I'm sorry. The Sword in the Darkness. This is Telltale Games' Game of Thrones series, and of course it picks up after the first 2 episodes, and with your moral choices, and it's just amazing. If you haven't played the Telltale Games version of Game of Thrones, download it, it's amazing. But if you have not seen the 3rd and 4th seasons, you might want to avoid it, because they do go into spoiler territory with this game with the 3rd and 4th seasons. But it's great. I love it. And all the music I love this month is in the description box down below under the playlist. There are 10 songs, like always. Let me know what you think, because I love to share music with people and see what they think, because music is such an open genre. Like, there's so much room for interpretation, and it's just amazing. Also, I need to thank some Patreon donors, which I put up that vlog, the Physical and Mental Health Update vlog, and I was not looking for help or anything. I just wanted to get stuff off my chest. But these people were very generous and donated, and that means the world to me. So I need to get your addresses so I can send you handwritten notes if you want me to. If you don't want to give me your address, that's fine, but I would really love to send you a handwritten note to say thank you for your donations. And yeah, let's just get into it. I have to thank Pierre Kelly, who is a very faithful viewer. He comments on most of my videos, or maybe all of them, but I know most. And he's just really, really sweet. He's really awesome, and just thank you so much, Pierre. This means the world to me. Thank you. Another one is Geeky Captain, or as I call him, Eric Fowler. He's another really sweet guy. He sent me that box full of goodies past few videos ago, and he's just really awesome and amazing, and yeah, he's really, really cool. So thank you, Eric. You're very sweet. Thank you so much. This means the world to me. Kevin Money, I hope I said your last name right. Another sweet person. Just thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This means the world to me. And lastly, a very loyal Alycat. He comments on most videos, but you know, he doesn't. But if he doesn't comment, I know why, and he's just very sweet and amazing. Justin Finnegan. He sent me several things in the past. You might know him. But he's very sweet, and thank you so much, Justin. Like, since you've been such a loyal Alycat from basically the beginning, this means a lot to me. So thank you so much. So please send me your addresses so I can write you a handwritten note if you want me to. Thank you so much for your Patreon donations. That's just so amazing to me. And thank you for your kindness and support and everything. That's just means the world to me. Thank you. 4 kisses for the 4 amazing guys. Lastly, but not leastly, which is not a word, are the YouTube channels I've enjoyed these past few weeks. And the first off is Pre-Book Reviews. Pre-Book Reviews, she does like Top 5 Wednesday, which is like Top 5 lists. She does book hauls, to be reads, stuff like that. And she's very into manga and YA novels, specifically fantasy YA, which I love YA novels. A lot of people think adults shouldn't read YA, but YA is much more fast-paced, is more quirky and heartwarming to me as adult fiction. Like, I love adult fiction, I do. But YA always has a special place in my heart because they tend to touch on more, you know, controversial topics like mental health and, you know, stuff like that, teen pregnancy, and that's really interesting to me. So I really love to hear other people's opinions about those kinds of novels, and Bree Book Reviews does a lot of opinions about those books because she loves those books. So I really value her opinion on those, and I just love to see what she picks up. The next channel is Wish Fulfillment. She is another booktuber, as they call the people that are obsessed with books and have book-related channels on YouTube. But she picks up stuff like manga, but she also picks up books relating to astrology, chakras, Enneagram, stuff like that. She's really interested in that kind of stuff, and that's really interesting to me. She also reads a lot of YA novels and just novels in general. I just love to hear her opinions on what she's bought and read. It's just really fascinating. So if you're into books, check out those two channels because they're really, really awesome channels. Another channel is In Herbie's World, and In Herbie's World is like subscription box unboxings. He does like amiibo unboxings and stuff, and Funko Pops and stuff like that. He's really awesome. He's like gaming and geek and stuff related, and he's really sweet. He's a really sweet guy. So if you're watching this, Herbie, you're really sweet and I adore you. But you have a really great channel and more people should watch. So check out In Herbie's World, and I always forget the last channel I always write down. But yeah, how did I forget this person? Because they are so amazing. I guess I forgot because they're so amazing that their amazingness just exploded out of my brain. But that's the Geeky Potato. Now the Geeky Potato is this adorable little boy named Alex and his mom, and sometimes you see his sister Sophie, and they're so cute. And you know, Alex is very into like Funko Pops and action figures. He likes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and superheroes, and he's just adorable. I just want to hug you, Alex. And your mom told me that you made a sim of me, which is like the best honor I've gotten on this since doing YouTube, to be honest. That's so flattering to me that you made a sim after me, and to put me with Johnny Tayez and your geeky neighbor, Johnny's girlfriend Morgan, some other YouTubers. That's just such an honor to me, and I really want to send y'all a box sometime. But you have to let me know what you like, and I'll put a box together and send it to you because you both are adorable, and your mom's adorable as well. Jenny's adorable. So check out Alex. If you go and check him out, tell him Alyssa sent you, and that you love him because he's adorable and sweet and amazing, and he deserves so much love. So the Geeky Potato, I don't know if you are afraid of girl cooties, but I'm going to blow you a kiss. But if you don't like that, give it to your mom or to Sophie. So definitely check out the Geeky Potato. He's amazing. He's amazing. So those were my favorites this month. Let me know what your favorites were, and like the video if you liked it. Down in the comments, let me know what your favorites were. Favorites that your friends and family can see. Share me songs you do it nicely, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos of geekiness and randomness and stuff like that, because I'm just random. I'm gonna go, but I love each and every one of you so much. Peace and kisses. Bye.